Hey, Bob Beaulaurier, the Bow Leadership Group, and today's episode is about leadership systems that win. I'm your host, Bob Beaulaurier, life strategist, self-proclaimed expert at almost sticking to a plan. For example, I have not bought a battery for the Porsche, so I can't drive that Porsche to my flight physical today, which would have been fun to drive. I like to do aviation related things with the Porsche because it's like a double win because aviation is a reward and driving a Porsche is a reward. I haven't stuck to the plan though of buying the battery. I must not have put it in my planner. So here I am a couple months after I knew it needed a battery and still haven't done it. And so I'm not driving it. I'm not enjoying it. So poor planning leads to piss poor for performance, is what one of my hospital management clients used to say. I've coached everything from little league soccer to high school championship team, but the best wins, they come with sportsmanship, teamwork, and a rock solid system. Around here, we're all about leadership systems that score big, honor God, and make work feel like a celebration. This is leadership systems that win. Picture this. I'm cruising down the highway, speed jumps from 60 to 70, and the car in front of me is still poking along at 60. So I zip out to pass safely, mind you, and the guy rolls down his window and flips me the bird. My sister always said, that means they think I'm number one. Anyway, they didn't think I was number one. But here's the wisdom: I don't have to accept that gesture as my gift, right? Like Buddha might have said, let it pass. Meanwhile, my wife is snoozing through the whole thing. And I couldn't help but think this is like National Lampoon's Vacation, though instead of Christy Brinkley next to me, I got this guy who's flipping me off. Anyway, I'm no stranger to messing up. I've fumbled goals like a rookie. The person who flipped me off, that was just yesterday, right? And I'm here to land a large multifamily real estate deal, but I'm not even close. And today I bought a stock too early because I ignored my own system. And it's August, the summer slump month, and people often don't buy anything in August because it's pretty likely to go down. And it got me pretty good today. But here's the deal: the great system is awesome, but using it to win, that's where the fun is. Today, we're diving into systems that make winning joyful, attitudes contagious, and life abundant because, as John 10:10 reminds us, we can live life to the fullest. I want to go over my GOOP framework again. GOOP, your winning playbook. It's not that soap brand Goop, but it's goal, obstacle, options. Put it in your planner, P at the end. Simple but powerful. The key: treat your planner like it's a sacred contract. One push up scheduled and done beats 100 planned and ignored. Notice I've talked about plans that I have, but I've ignored and not taken action. I once had big real estate dreams, but without specific goals, as Zig Ziglar would say, I was just a wandering generality. No fun in that. Fun question though: what's one goal that you'd love to score on big if you had a divine game plan in your planner? Biblical wisdom from Proverbs 16:3 says, commit to the Lord in whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. When you align with goals and God's purpose, your system becomes a winning playbook. And that's a victory worth celebrating. Yesterday I celebrated with my wife. We had a lovely lunch, and we had a lovely lunch the day before. And we went to Tony's, and I call it Tony's, but Anthony's. And Anthony's, if you're from the Pacific Northwest, you know it is often a place with views of boats and water and seafood. And it was just a really great time. And we, unfortunately, in the morning, were helping to move boxes from a Trump administration institution that got shut down. We were moving boxes, and yet we were able to shift it and celebrate at lunch and look at all the goals and things that we're working on. And even though that one thing shut down for my wife, she has four or five other things going that she'll be able to build memories and great dreams coming. Anyway, number two, goals and why your brain plays defense. Goals like more clients, better health, stronger relationships sound great, but to your brain, it's like a cat dodging a bath. Your brain loves the couch, the screen, the comfort zone. Enter scotomas, mental blind spots. Tony Robbins talks about these if you want to search up scotomas. Scotoma is Scotomas if you're Googling that, and Tony Robbins. Anyway, They're your brain saying, nope, don't see that goal. Procrastination. The first O in Goop is the ultimate fun killer. Or what I'm saying is, when you think about obstacles and getting your goals, think about those scotomas and the blind spots and those comfort areas where your brain says, I don't want to spend the energy on that. You probably have a little more fuel in the tank than you think. People can run 200 miles. Your ability to go without food is 7 days if you're drinking water. You probably have a little more fuel in the tank than you think. In my case, I've got a pretty good amount of fat around just my chin. As I'm looking at my video here, I could probably go for several weeks just on the fat around my head. First O in Goop is the ultimate fun killer, and that is procrastination. And Gary Vee asks, what if this Monday was your last? You'd chase those goals fast, live abundantly, right? Fun question. If you had 1 week left, what goal would you sprint toward? With a smile. Biblical wisdom. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, because God calls us to go all in on our purpose. Break through those blind spots with passion and watch winning become a joyful habit. And systems are about habits, right? If you build a system that gets you up in the morning to do your workout or that one push up, you get the workout done. But if you don't build the habit, like James Clear talks about with the little bite-sized chunks, then it becomes hard to find your good options. And that happens to be number 3, options. The second O, options. Once you spot your obstacles, you've got choices. Want that deal? Call lenders, network with brokers, or scout listings. Jim Rohn says, massive action, go massive. James Clear says, start tiny. Goop says, do both. Big dreams, bite-sized target steps. That's how you keep the game fun and the wins coming, and celebrate those wins. Fun question. What's one crazy option you never tried that could spark a win? Biblical wisdom, Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Options guided by faith lead to wins that feel abundant and fun. 4 is the planner magic, your planner, your victory schedule. The P in Goop is where the magic happens. Put it in your planner. Have I said that yet? Put it in your planner. I had my best sales year when I had that planner, and I kept it as sacred. And I was scheduling 10 to 15-minute tasks, fueled by planned motorcycle rides and other little brief getaways in the airplane or golf club, so that I could use a reward to get me to use the planner both for good and for things that are a little bit harder to do, the things that get you out of your comfort zone. So have good things and bad things and follow them and reward yourself as you go so that you can chunk those things together and make it work. Science backs this. Distributed practice, like spaced repetition, boosts retention and results. Princeton's McGraw Center says, don't cram schedule specific goals. Plan your wins, and you're halfway to victory. Halfway to that victory dance. Fun question. What's the one tiny thing or tiny task that you could schedule today to start something, to start that winning feeling that becomes a party and celebration? Biblical wisdom, Psalm 37:5 says, commit your way to the Lord and trust in him, and he will act. A planner is something that God often meets halfway, right? Some of those goals that we have, it's interesting how you have to do the work, but God meets you halfway. He might put the right people, the right funds in your path. You hear it all the time about somebody who wants to do something, and the exact amount of money shows up from a tax refund or something else where, like, to the penny, it's the exact amount that you need. Now, a little faith rooted in your planner, or a planner rooted in faith, depending on how you look at that, turns small steps into big joyful wins that glorify God. I want to talk about DISC and teams winning together with DISC assessments. So we've talked about the different categories: DISC, dominant, inspiring, steady, conscientious, are your team's secret sauce. They reveal how your people tick, fostering a support and alignment. Imagine a D-type person rallying an S-type to form a committee, or an S-type softening a D-type's emails for better vibes. When your team uses GOOP, naming goals, obstacles, options, and planning tasks, boom, you get wins, you get high fives all over. DM me to bring DISC to your crew and turn dysfunctional into a victory parade. Fun question. What's the most fun you've had winning as a team, and who made it awesome? Wisdom. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If you have either one fall down, one can help the other up. Leadership that lifts others creates a culture of fun, abundant wins. 6, advanced systems where we use data to power those wins. If we talk about CLEAR, CLEAR, where you do communications Monday, leadership meetings on Tuesday with your cabinet. Wednesday is equipping others. Thursday is attitudes, and Friday is relationships. Thursday is for attitudes because, as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And you have to build those relationships on Fridays. And you have to pick a time to do this and have a system. That's the idea, right? CLEAR matches up with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if you have that as a system, then you might miss a Friday on relationships. You might miss a Monday on communications, but over the course of a year, if you're following your planner as a sacred document, you'll be able to incorporate those things and make a big difference and watch it pay off. Let's add some more data science and measure your systems like the coach playbook and stats, right? The football coach has that playbook in the back of his pants. I see the little league football coaches with those in the back of their pants. They have dreams of being the next NFL coach. But vision and direction, pulse surveys. Can 80% of your team identify your vision? If 80% can repeat your vision, then you're in a pretty good shape. Log decisions and review outcomes in 90 days. Not to chastise people, but just to measure and improve. People development, track retention and promotion. Track promotions and retention after mentoring. See if mentoring is making a difference. It no doubt will if you measure it and improve it. Execution, use a dashboard for completion rates and bottlenecks. Culture, run sentiment analysis on feedback to tune in your trust and collaboration. Data isn't just for big shots, it's your edge. And with Grok and ChatGPT and other AI platforms, data analysis can get easier, but systems have to make sure your data systems are quality systems. I can help you with that if you need it. Why is that important? Because data quality leads to quality decisions, or as my generation was taught, garbage in, garbage out. That's the worst system, right? Where you have garbage go in and you make garbage decisions. Quality data makes systems measurable, improvable, and fun. Measure something, tweak your system, and live abundantly this week. Fun question. What's one stat you'd love to track to make your leadership a slam dunk? Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Use some data. Take a little bit of diligent time to drive those systems to bring abundant wins that honor God and make leadership a blast. Here's the wrap up. Leadership systems that win aren't just about efficiency, they're about people, purpose, and progress. Commit to CLEAR, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and plug in GOOP, GOOP, into your planner and use data to make every play better. The best leaders build systems that make winning fun, attitudes infectious, and life abundant, just like John 10:10 promises. I'm Bob Beaulaurier, and this was the Leadership Systems That Win. Share this with your crew, spark some more wins, and may your week be blessed with purpose and joy. Bless your week.